Guys, today I wanted to make a video talking about like high school and what it was like because it was like cray cray. I got the idea to make this video because last night I was in my bed and I was like, I want to watch Tickety Talks about other people's high school experience. So I searched up school story times on TikTok and it made me think like I have a lot of like stories and like weird experiences from high school that I could talk about. So why not make a video about it? And I was also thinking of doing a makeup look slash getting into cosplay in this. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing. I will get into stalking cosplay. I always cosplay her, and she's one of my favorite characters. And wearing her cosplay makes me feel very cute. So yeah, she's gonna pick up. Now I want to know about the makeup. The fit I'm gonna wear for her, I've worn before, so I think it's gonna involve pink or blue, I guess. I guess I'll have those colors. Okay, so when it comes to like high school, now that I'm in college, nothing I've noticed about myself that I didn't think was gonna happen is that I've been like really missing high school. And at first I was like, why do I miss high school? Like, what's the miss about it? Because like my high school experience had like a lot of crazy things happen, and when I was in high school, I did not want to be in. I wanted to be out as soon as possible. But then after thinking, I realized like, oh, I don't necessarily miss high school. I just miss having somewhere where I can see my friends and talk to them constantly. I also think another reason why I kind of like missed high school was, actually, I kind of want to do pink on the outer. Uh, whoopsie daisy, I guess. Anyway, like, I also think another thing I missed about being in high school was because at my high school there was like never really a dull day. Like there may have been good days, there may have been bad days, but it was rarely ever like fully boring. But now that I'm in college, I am experiencing a lot more just dull, kind of boring days. Like yeah, my school sucked, but at least I had fun. Also, another reason why I feel like I miss high school so much is because it was kind of nice having like-minded people, like not just like-minded, but just like people who were like you in general, whether it be how you looked or how you act or something around you all the time. Like I went to like a performing arts high school, so there was a lot of other people there who were like considered like weird or queer or alternative. Like, so I could walk around and not like have to worry about like feeling like too different. But now that I'm in college, I don't get to experience that. Like, I don't think my school's necessarily predominantly white. I don't know actually. Maybe I should Google that later. But like, I'm not seeing as much black people as I did before. And also just like alternative people in general. Like I would walk to school, I would see my friends or just the way people I didn't know were dressed, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I need to step up my game. They look so good. But now, not necessarily now, because I'm kind of over it now. But when I first got into college, I kind of felt like I was standing out a little too much. Like, because like most people who were there kind of dressed more casually, and so I felt kind of embarrassed like walking in looking cray cray, especially if I got to like a class slightly later than I'd intend to. Like let's say I wanted to use the bathroom before class or something. It felt extra embarrassing walking in there. Because it's like I'm walking in late and I'm done up to the nines. They're probably gonna think I'm late because of that. Yeah, I got over that kind of quickly though, but Huh. Another thing I was thinking about last night that I wanted to talk about was is related to my experience with being queer while I was in high school. It's not necessarily that like um it was awful because most of my friends were also queer and stuff. But it's more so like looking back on it, I kind of realized that like something I feel like isn't talked about all that much in the queer community is like, well, I feel like it is talked about. Maybe it's just not necessarily time, like saying that stuff. Whatever. It's how being queer makes you kind of feel like you're missing out on like things you feel like you should be experiencing in high school, specifically romance related. And for me specifically, that was like with like things like crushes. Because like something I've always like felt during high school is that I could like never truly experience what it's like to just have a chill, normal crush experience. Because like most of my crushes I either assumed were straight or like even though I didn't assume they were straight, I still didn't think I had a chance with them. And so because of that, I would kind of just like force away my crush before it could like really develop into anything. And and once I did get into a relationship, it didn't last even a month. So yeah. I was kind of thinking last night, like, wow, I'm never gonna like experience the totally like hallway crush high school experience like a lot of my friends got to. At least I'm not going to experience it in high school. And I also feel like because I didn't have that many like romantic experiences in high school, that it's gonna automatically affect the way I treat romance now that I'm an adult. That's not in high school, if you know what I means. There's like other certain experiences that I feel like I missed out on in high school, but like they're not as like I guess bad. I don't know. That's what I think. Like during high school, I was a little so much of a goody two shoes to the point where like I was afraid of doing things that wouldn't even be considered that bad or crazy. Like for example, during my freshman year, I had a study hall for a class, but um I would refuse to ever let myself even slightly drift off in that class, even though I didn't really have much to do. And like people fell asleep in that class regularly when they didn't have stuff to do. Like I was so incredibly exhausted by that time because I think it was like one of my last periods, if not my like just straight up my last period. So like I would always be super exhausted on the verge of falling asleep, but I refused to let myself sleep. And after I finished that school year, I was like, why did I even do that? Like that was completely unnecessary. It's not like the teacher was gonna get mad at me. She didn't care. How I rarely ever stayed home from oh whoops. How I rarely ever stayed home from school. Even when I probably should have stayed home. Like for example, I have like get really bad periods. Like I get like really bad cramps and I have like a heavy flow, so periods be like super duper hell. But like I would force myself to go to school, even though my cramps were bad and I knew they were gonna be bad. So I'd be like, oh, I just need to go to school. I just need to fuck it out. Da da da. I don't want to miss class. Da 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 da. And then I'd end up leaving school and going home by like the beginning of second period because my cramps were so bad. I literally could not focus at all. I could barely even like get from class to class. So it was, but I spent so long just trying to fuck it out instead of just staying home the first like 2 to 3 days or something, you know? I don't even like fully completely understand why I did it other than like I just didn't want to do bad things, I guess. It was kind of silly, but I mean, on the bright side, because I was so much of a goody two shoes and I rarely ever wanted to go out of my way to get in trouble, mainly because I wasn't interested in doing things that would even get me in trouble in the first place. On the bright side, I feel like that kind of impacts the way my mom like treats me actually going out and doing stuff. Like I was such a homebody who was an introvert and like too much of goody two shoes that like I rarely ever left the house to do anything with anyone unless it was like to go to the park or something. So now that I'm an adult, my mom pretty much just lets me do what I want. Like go where I want because at least she's leaving the house. Yeah, now that I'm done yammering and yammering, I guess time to go into school story times. Plus, I guess just more details and more on what my school was like. Since we're speaking about periods first, I guess I'll go into that story. Don't worry, it's not like graphic or gross kind of period story. Basically, something kind of weird that would often happen during high school to me was that like almost every school year there was always a situation where I would be on my period, be experiencing bad cramps and stuff, decide, okay, I need to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom, and then get trapped in there from a group of people, usually girls, 'cause, I'm a girls' restroom, like outside of my stall, just doing and talking about cray stuff. So during my freshman year, I was in I think, my 3D class, my 3D art class or whatever, and um, I needed to change my batting stuff, so I went to the bathroom. And while I went in there, there was this girl who was like sitting on like the sink like counter thanger, and I thought nothing of it. I thought she was probably just skipping or something. So I went into the bathroom, the stall, until like shortly after I get into the stall, another person comes in the bathroom and they're um, like saying something like, "Hey, do you got stuff?" Da da da. I'm like, yeah, I got it. And so they like start smoking in the bathroom right outside of my stall. Like like one of them is literally just like their back is pressed up against the stall the stall door that I'm in. And the thing is, I have asthma, and the smoke is not good for me to be around. And so I was just like covering my mouth to make sure that I wouldn't inhale it in, so I wouldn't like start wheezing or anything while actively being trapped on the toilet because my cramps were so bad I couldn't get up. And so I was just there for so long, and I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna like wait until they're done doing what they're doing to like get up and go back to class. But the way they were taking 5 ever to go back, the class that they finally left, right before the bell rang. And the first part is I didn't have my phone on me. I decided, you know what, I'm probably not gonna take that long, so I'm not gonna take my phone with me. So I couldn't even at least like text my friend to like tell the teacher that I was like stuck in the bathroom from cramps or something. So I come out, my friend like comes out of the bathroom. She's like, I think this was the class was right before we had lunch together. She was like, "Hey, Jen, why are you taking so long?" I was like, "Oh, I went in there and then my pants were really bad, so I stayed. And then there's people who came in smoking, and they were like all up against my stall and da 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 da, and like just talking and stuff." So yeah, no, it did happen. Okay, it was lagging, whatever. A similar thing did kind of happen during the other school years, except the only one that was like really like truly more of like a genuinely stuck in the bathroom kind of thing was the crazier story. Basically, it was before lunch and we were waiting for them to like open up the cafeteria for us to come eat our lunch. Well, technically, I think what it was is that we came out of class a little earlier than usual, so the period before us that had like lunch and stuff was still in the cafeteria. I'm like not doing my makeup. I'm kind of boo-boo at multitasking sometimes. Sorry. Okay, only the pink looks more like purple, but it's whatever, I guess. Hey, eyeliner time. But yeah, so I was like standing there with two friends, and I was like, hey guys, I need to go use the bathroom. I'll be back. They're like, okay. So I go to use the bathroom and I'm on my period and then I experience kind of bad cramps. So I'm like trapped there for a little bit. I'm like, oh wait, it's taking a little too long, a little longer than I would have liked to do. And then like a bigger group of like girls come into the bathroom. Oh no, I kind of messed up my eyeliner. Um, come into the bathroom. Like, you know what? Like that's not a big deal because, women being in the bathroom is not that crazy. And so they start one of them starts talking about how they just bought how do I say this in a way that's inappropriate? They just bought a flower. They just bought a flower and they were going into depth about like how they just bought this flower and how it was gonna come to their doorstep like later that day, but they were planning on going somewhere after school, and they were worried about that because like they're worried that their their parents are gonna go through their packages and see that they bought a flower and da 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 da. And then like some of the other girls in the group were like asking questions like, "Oh, you got a flower? What is a flower like?" And then the police were like, "Oh, it's amazing." Da, 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 da. I was just like in the stall trying not to laugh, I mean, at least in this instance, like, the situation, the story was better than the last one because at least it wasn't a story of me like suffering with both my lungs and my uterus. At least I had a good laugh. Speaking of weird stuff happened in the back, and there's a lot of weird stories relating to bathrooms at my school. Like the story of one of my friends got to school. As soon as they got to school, they went to use the bathroom, and they like heard someone just having an absolute time. If you're picking up what I'm putting down early in the morning in the my movement is home, so I'm gonna try to speed this up a bit. Because I prefer recording when I'm alone because my family does kind of have a tendency to like interrupt me while I'm doing stuff a lot. And I don't want to have to constantly like get up, leave from recording, come back, sit down, get up, leave, come back, you know? So hopefully I can finish this before she like needs me to do anything. Okay, what was I saying? Okay, wait. Oh yeah, other weird bathroom stuff. Okay, so there's this one time in my gym class during my junior year where I went to use the bathroom, and there's this group of girls who had a huge tendency of like constantly going to the bathroom during that class. So like I go in you'd always like see them get up, leave, be gone for a good amount of time, come back like near the end of the period, then get up, leave again, and go back to the bathroom and stuff. And every time you use the bathroom, they were like almost always in there. They were either in there, on their way out of there, or on their way in there. um, they would always have like very weird, like loud conversations in there. And so, like, obviously you could hear them. And one of the conversations they were having was about chest size. And they're like, the way they were talking about it, you could tell that, like, they were lifting up their shirts to show each other what their, what it looked like. And then making, like, comments about their chest, the size and stuff. And there's also another time where I'm pretty sure it was that same group of girls were, like, giving each other laughing. And then there's also another time where there was this image going around at my school of these two people but booty naked all up on the floor doing the do, and that's just something that I've never like understood about school. Like I get that teenagers are like hormonal and stuff, and a lot of them want to do inappropriate things and stuff, but like out of all the places you could do it, why on the dirty floor? Like, what's with teenagers and doing inappropriate stuff on dirty floors? Like, at that point, I feel like you have a higher chance of catching an STD from even sitting your booty on the floor than doing the do. Like, okay, I think that's gonna be the last bathroom story for now. But there's this other time during I think it was my sophomore year where I went to go to this bathroom, and in this there's a specific like okay, so my school was kind of like one of those outdoor schools where it's like the classrooms were inside but the hallways were outside, so there were different buildings and classrooms were in those buildings, and there's a specific building that was the tech building, like, and I'm assuming because it was a tech building and like most students were only like going to that building if they had tech classes, it was one of the cleanest buildings there and had one of the cleanest bathrooms in the school. So usually I wouldn't expect there to be gross stuff in there. But one day, when I went to use the bathroom, I walked in and I walked in and there was a big old glob of boo boo on the stall, but it was like right in front of the door. Like, but the door was like open, but it was like in front of the door where it would be if the door was closed. And because of where it was, like, because like if you see poop on the floor, you might just assume, okay, maybe they tried to poop and it missed or something. But because it was a little too close to where the door stall would be, is like it's kind of obvious that it was put there. And I was just like, who is taking a boo boo and just slapping it on the floor? Whatever. In the cleanest bathroom too. Okay, and for this last thing about my school, for now, maybe I'll make another video with more stuff. I'll be talking about a very specific story of something that happened. Okay, so One day I was in class, this was during my sophomore year. I was in my personal finance class, and the students in that class were pretty chill until this one day where I was in there and everything was like chill and normal until like I hear this like guy and this girl kind of going a little back and forth in the class. They're like closer to the back of the class than me. When suddenly the guy gets up, he takes the computer, he's like on the desk. So like obviously the teacher's one and stuff is like, what's going on? Why are you doing that? Da da da. And suddenly this guy starts crashing out, like he's like yelling. He's like, wait, no, actually, was he yelling? I don't remember that well. I think he was very clearly mad, but I don't think he was like yelling the whole time, you know. But yeah, he goes around the classroom and was like breaking stuff. Like there's this shelf by my teacher's desk, like but closer behind her desk. I'm not like okay, this is like her desk and like this is the shelf, if that makes sense. Like here, if that makes sense. And he has these like little plastic basket thingies that hold like different supplies in it. He goes to like the handle, he just like breaks it off and stuff. And then he goes near um the closet door in the classroom. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's like realizing how mad he is and he's trying to go to like, a space away from people where he can just try to chill out. But the door is locked. So after like trying to, get the door open and it's not opening because it's locked, he comes to a desk that's like not too far in front of me. Um, he picks it up and he throws it at the teacher's desk. Now luckily, oh, okay, I retrieved it. But yeah, yeah, he threw the desk at the teacher. Luckily, because of the way the desk built and stuff, it didn't hit her. Mm, But after that, everyone in the class is like freaking out, like screaming, like, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing? Why is he mad?" Da 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 da. Because like he's throwing desk at the teacher, and so he's like walking around the room like angry, and everyone in the room is like screaming and stuff, and the teacher's trying to get him to calm down, and eventually has to call like the front office to have security come get him. He then proceeds to walk to the back of the class, and there's this table at the back of the class that has like a sharpener on it. He takes the sharpener and he chucks it towards like where that girl that he was originally beefing with. Um, sorry, in the corner. Luckily, he doesn't throw it hard enough to actually hit them, so it like falls to the ground at their feet before he can hit them. And then shortly after that, a security guard or whatever comes to the class to come get him, and he ends up like wrestling the security guard that came in and like dislocating his arm. Luckily, the security guard still managed to get him out. Um, and then I think not necessarily the next day because we had block schedule, so the day after the next day, when we go into class, one of my friends that also had that class but wasn't there that day was talking to me, and we were on the way to class. He was like, "Hey Jayla, did you get like questioned by like security or like anyone at the school?" I was like, "No." Why? Like, oh, they were questioning me about like something that was happening last class. I was like, oh, it was about the guy who threw a desk at the teacher. She's like, what? Yeah. That's the story of the guy who crashed out in my class. Well, um, oh yeah, I kind of left out. Basically, when I was trying to figure out like why he crashed out in the first place, apparently what happened was there's like the girl that he was beefing with or whatever. They were kind of like talking. I think she said that he was making threats towards her and she wasn't taking that, and she was like threatening him back and like, oh, if you do this I'm gonna do this to you, like saying that he was threatening to stab her with a pencil and stuff. And I guess he got so mad about it, either he got super mad about it or he just wanted to show that he was like standing on business or something. So yeah, uh that's the end of my school story time. um Hopefully if I remember to, I will show a picture of the finished makeup look here. thank you for watching. I hope to make more videos about crazy stuff that happens in my school because I have crazier stories. So, yeah. Bye, guys.